Understanding SOC 2 basics is the first step toward effective integration. Developed by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, SOC 2 evaluates an organization's system controls against the Trust Services criteria. These criteria, organized under the COSO internal control framework, emphasize governance, risk assessment, monitoring, and control activities. SOC 2 engagements culminate in a formal report, validated by a licensed CPA firm, which describes control design and operating effectiveness. Unlike HITRUST, SOC 2 is principle-based, granting flexibility in control implementation. For example, rather than prescribing exact password settings, SOC 2 evaluates whether logical access controls achieve the intended protection. Understanding this flexibility is crucial when mapping HITRUST's detailed requirements into SOC 2's outcome-driven structure. Despite similarities, SOC 2 and HITRUST differ in scope, deliverables, and audience. SOC assesses specific systems or services and culminates in a narrative report intended for customer due diligence. It focuses on operational control effectiveness during a defined period for Type 2 reports. HITRUST, by contrast, is a certification built on verified compliance with mapped standards and regulatory requirements. It evaluates not only implementation but also maturity through PRISMA scoring. SOC answers, "Are controls working as described?" while HITRUST answers, "Are controls sufficiently designed, documented, and risk-aligned?" Understanding these distinctions prevents confusion about what each certification communicates. Together, they present both depth and breadth. One attests to reliability, the other to structured compliance. Strategy determines whether to pursue SOC 2 and HITRUST sequentially or concurrently. Sequential audits allow organizations to focus resources, completing HITRUST first to establish control maturity, then extending that foundation into a SOC 2 report. Concurrent assessments, however, offer efficiency by collecting shared evidence once and testing controls under both frameworks simultaneously. The right choice depends on resource availability, customer timelines, and assessor coordination. For example, concurrent execution may shorten total duration but requires meticulous scheduling to avoid overlap errors. Sequential projects offer clarity but can stretch timelines. The best strategy balances urgency, readiness, and team capacity to minimize duplication and maximize credibility. Coordinating sampling and testing windows ensures that results remain valid for both programs. HITRUST typically tests control operation across a 12-month lookback, while SOC 2 Type 2 reports require evidence within the same or overlapping period. Aligning these windows allows one set of samples, such as access reviews or change tickets, to support both validations. Scheduling evidence pulls at consistent intervals avoids rework. For example, quarterly vulnerability scans conducted for HITRUST can double as SOC 2 evidence if dates and scope align. This harmonization requires early planning between compliance teams and assessors, turning what could be redundant testing into synchronized efficiency. Managing assessor roles and independence is critical because SOC 2 and HITRUST follow different professional standards. SOC 2 engagements must be led by licensed CPAs under AICPA guidelines, while HITRUST assessments require certified assessors approved by HITRUST. Some firms hold credentials for both, but independence requirements still apply. Organizations should clarify roles early, defining which assessor owns which deliverable and how information sharing occurs without compromising impartiality. Transparent engagement letters and conflict of interest reviews preserve credibility. Effective coordination turns potential friction between standards into collaboration, ensuring that both certifications stand independently yet reinforce one another. Contract terms and customer expectations influence integration decisions. Many healthcare or technology clients specify both SOC 2 and HITRUST within vendor security requirements. Contracts may dictate report frequency, audit type, or certification validity. Understanding these clauses helps determine cadence and format. For instance, a customer may accept a HITRUST validated assessment as equivalent assurance for SOC 2 security, reducing scope overlap. Clearly communicating audit schedules and deliverables to customers manages expectations and demonstrates professionalism. In dual frameworks, proactive communication often matters as much as technical rigor. It shapes trust, satisfaction, and renewal opportunities. Handling gaps between frameworks requires structured analysis. Not every high-trust control maps cleanly to a SOC 2 criterion, and vice versa. For example, SOC 2's emphasis on processing integrity may exceed HITRUST's operational testing depth. Identifying these gaps early allows targeted remediation or supplemental procedures. Maintaining a crosswalk table with annotations clarifies how each variance was addressed. Some organizations choose to enhance one framework's scope slightly to close alignment gaps. The objective is coherence, ensuring that when both reports are read together, they present no contradictions or unaddressed risk areas. Gaps acknowledged and managed become strengths rather than vulnerabilities. Reporting packages and distribution complete the integration process. SOC 2 reports are generally restricted use documents shared under non-disclosure agreements, while HITRUST certification letters are public-facing attestations of compliance. Together, they form a layered communication strategy: HITRUST for broad external validation and SOC for detailed partner assurance. Preparing unified executive summaries simplifies presentation. For example, an internal governance pack may include a side-by-side table of key findings from both frameworks. Distribution control ensures that sensitive report content reaches only authorized recipients while still satisfying contractual obligations. Dual report maturity lies in balancing transparency with confidentiality. Common pitfalls in SOC 2 and HITRUST integration stem from poor coordination, rushed timelines, or inconsistent evidence management. Teams that treat audits as separate projects often duplicate work and invite misalignment. Other pitfalls include unclear scope boundaries, mismatched terminology, and neglect of assessor independence rules. Avoiding these issues requires early planning, a single source of truth for evidence, and joint review checkpoints. Using integrated compliance management platforms or shared dashboards supports this coordination. Successful integration reflects operational maturity. It shows that compliance is not fragmented but woven into everyday governance, delivering accuracy with efficiency. Efficient dual assurance planning transforms SOC 2 and HITRUST from parallel tasks into complementary pillars of trust. When frameworks integrate smoothly, they deliver unified evidence, consistent narratives, and synchronized reporting cycles that satisfy multiple audiences simultaneously. Each strengthens the other. HITRUST brings structure and specificity, while SOC 2 adds independent validation and market recognition. Together, they tell a single story. Controls are not only compliant, but effective, verifiable, and enduring. The result is a cohesive assurance ecosystem where governance efficiency meets external credibility, proving that true compliance is both strategic and sustainable.